this incredibly positive and wide range of popular support for the bill reflects a strong belief in a publicly provided NHS. People are rightly worried because the NHS, consistently ranked one of the best in the world, is under threat as never before. Under threat from underfunding dressed up as efficiency savings, under threat from cuts, under threat from the wasteful bidding of the internal market. It is no wonder that we can't recruit more nurses and doctors when they are treated so badly by this government, when they are not appreciated for the expertise that they bring.
I think Grantham is one of the dreadful casualties of a defunded and health service with terrible, deliberate undertraining of numbers of nurses and doctors, so they're now having...
Why is the NHS bill needed? It's needed because legislation is what brings about, if you like, implementation of the market. So if we want to get the market out of the NHS, we have to change the law. And we have worked with many groups, and several people in this room, over a number of years now, to develop this bill as a way to reverse the 25 years of marketisation. However, of course, we must also be prepared to bring it back again and again and again, because we're not going to have a law passed to bring it back as a public service until at least 2020, unless we have a new government. Because ultimately, it's the politicians that we elect them to pass laws.
I'm Tony O'Sullivan. I'm the co-chair of Keep Our NHS Public. And Keep Our NHS Public is part of Health Campaigns Together. You see the banner over there, which is an alliance of 25 plus different organisations, campaigns, trade unions and other supporters who want to come together on what we agree on and not divide on what we disagree on. One important stage in the last few months has been the fact that Labour Party now has official policy supporting the NHS bill. The Labour Party's annual conference passed a motion including the clause to support the NHS bill. We have support also from the connected organisation Momentum in the Labour Party. We've got many campaigns, and you'll see some of the banners. Peter Roderick will address us first. Thank you very much. I introduced him already as a legal barrister in Queen Mary University, London, who drafted this bill and has done us an enormous favour.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today and to see so many people here. This is the 5th NHS Reinstatement Bill that has been presented in Parliament. It's a sign of the effort that we have to persist and continue with, that we have to keep putting this bill in every parliamentary session. As Tony has said, we have support now of the Labour leadership. Diane Abbott in the Labour Party conference last month said that the bill now has the support of the Labour leadership, and that is a step forward. The bill has been pioneered in the Commons until now by Caroline Lucas in the Green Party, but with the support of Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell and Liberal Democrats and the SNP. It's a step forward that the Labour Party is now embracing this bill, and we need to keep the pressure on the entirety of the Labour Party. We have to get beyond the small number of Labour MPs who are necessarily on the back of the bill, and we have to get their commitment to putting the NHS back as a public service. But Margaret Greenwood is leading this today now. There's a lot of support growing in the Labour Party, and we must keep the pressure on them. Without the bill, without a law, we will not have the NHS that we have known and treasured. And that is why so many of us are committed to keeping up this battle.
Thank you very much, Peter. And later on this morning, I hope we will hear from Alison Pollock also, who's joined us back again. I think I forgot to mention somebody that I spoke to earlier who's from Cornwall. So that's a hell of a journey. Thank you very much.
I'm going to talk a bit later on, but I want to tell you something about one of the changes, the new bits to the bill that's really important. And we went, Peter and I, to see John Hendy, who's a QC, and he drafted a new clause, clause 20, which would actually put in place collective pay bargaining machinery. And this is really important because the NHS is based on the principle of redistribution and equity, so that there won't be enormous anomalies in wages and terms and conditions. And if it's left to junior doctors and nurses to fight for their own local terms and conditions, that will further disintegrate and fragment our NHS. So I wonder if Peter might say a few words now on clause 20 and the collective pay bargaining machinery that's being drafted, and also mechanisms for ensuring there are fair disciplinary proceedings, and also whistleblowing, which has become a very big issue, as you know, in the NHS.
In the summer, a number of professors published an interesting booklet called A Manifesto for Labour Law, and in there towards a revision of for comprehensive workers' rights. And this is a manifesto that they have brought together, which catalogues the increasing inequality in the country, which is linked to the decline in collective bargaining and the decline in the trade union membership. And I would commend this publication to everybody. When we read it, we thought this is very relevant to the National Health Service. And so we went to see the editors, one of the three editors of the booklet, John Hendy QC, a well-known trade union lawyer, and he very kindly agreed to draft for us a clause 20 in the bill with the help of Professor Keith Ewing at King's College, London, which would put in compulsory collective bargaining mechanisms. It would build on the agenda for change, the system that is already there, but the agenda for change would have to be tested against the requirements of collective bargaining machinery, which would be agreed between the Secretary of State and the representatives of the workers in the National Health Service. What is fascinating to discover is that the percentage from the Manifesto for Labour Law booklet is that the percentage of income in the country that goes to the top 1% of the country is linked to the percentage of trade union members among the workforce. And we can see there's a very clear correlation between an increase in the income of the very rich as a percentage of national income with a decline in trade union membership. And this is the result of a consistent attack on trade unions by this government and indeed the previous government. And so we hope that clause 20, we nest clause 20 as it were within this wider labour movement to bring back collective bargaining, and which acknowledges that at the end of the day it is power that matters, and it's not acceptable for the NHS to be fragmented, to be given to private companies, and then for private companies not to treat people in a fair and reasonable way. So that is basically clause 20.
I'm very happy to congratulate the Labour Party MPs who are battling to bring the Labour Party back to its origins, to deny Bevan and the great work that they did in the past. Yeah. We want you to do well. The Green Party may lose votes, but we'd much sooner have a strong NHS. But you have to do the job properly. That means we're stopping the privatisation and also putting the money back in. Thank you.
Yeah. Right on.
And let's show this government who owns the NHS. It's not that lot, it's us. We're the collective and we own it, and we need to keep fighting for it. Anyway, I thank you all for turning up. Have a good day, and let's hope this bill gets where it should be, at the top of the list. Goodbye.
Since the Labour Party passed its resolution at conference, what we're seeing are more and more councils speaking out about their concerns about the STP. And that, I think, is vitally important. We got our STP published because of campaigners in Brent, one of the boroughs affected, putting in a freedom of information request. However, not only have we had our full STP published, we actually also have 2 councils which have refused to sign up to the STP. Hammersmith and Fulham and Ealing councils. This, I think, is a huge step forward.
One of the, you might say one of the last lines of democracy to defend the NHS is actually in the local councils and what the local campaigners are doing with them. Because of the huge success and pressure of the campaigns in North West London, when the commissioners there were demanding that the local councils signed up to their STPs, they had the courage to say, they had the bravery just to say, we aren't signing something until we've seen it. And they said, well, everybody else is signing it. And they said, well, we aren't, because we're not stupid. We're not going to sign up to things that give you a blank check. So they were, I think that if this story is correct, they were locked in a room for 90 minutes or something like that, and told to read the draft of the STP, which I understand had so little financial information in it that they still refused to sign it, even under threat of other funds being withheld. Now that is still the case. They've refused to sign it, and we've seen now that Sutton and all the South West London boroughs have come out, leaders of the council, to say that they will refuse to support their local STP. And North Central London, the 5 boroughs there have released the STP into the public domain against that's the Sustainability Transformation Plan, into the public domain against the wishes of NHS England, and so too has the council in Birmingham. So there's a growing feeling that councillors and councils, I should say pressurised by strong local campaigns, are having the courage to stand up and say, we aren't going to be party to a false sort of contract between local authorities and the health service, when in fact it's really a health service plan pursuing Jeremy Hunt and the Conservative Party's plan to destroy the NHS.
So what has been happening in our area is that the lead of the STP has been going around meeting groups, so giving out, explaining what the STP is. No idea of anybody asking her anything meaningful or challenging plans or asking what they're really about. And this is all about a tick box exercise, so I suspect it's going to go on all around the country, and it's something we need to oppose. When they stand up and say, oh, we've consulted everybody, then I think that's something we have to very strongly oppose.
The NHS is the single greatest reform that working people have ever won on these islands. The idea that everybody pays in what they can and takes out what they need is a threat to all those who seek to make profit wherever they can. The NHS was never handed down by a malevolent government. It's ours. We won it. We won it because we fought for it, and now we have to fight to defend it, which is why Health Campaigns Together, who are supporting this event today, have called a national demonstration for the 4th of March. Spread the word, bring your banners, and let's show this weak Tory government with a tiny majority of 12 MPs exactly what they can do with their privatisation agenda.
Last night we had a small but very important victory. Tony was talking about the importance now of councils. It's like guerrilla warfare, step by step, inch by inch. A small victory, putting a spanner in the works. The CCG didn't carry out an impact assessment. This sounds a bit boring, but they didn't carry out what the impact on the local trust would be if this contract was given to Circle. What was brilliant last night is we haven't stopped the contract, but what the Council Scrutiny Committee said, we insist that the CCG carries out a full and independent impact assessment before this contract proceeds.
So we're very, very pleased with that. A lot of energy's gone into it. And I know that everybody here is going along to those boring meetings, but, you know, it's very worthwhile and we've got to keep going. Thank you.
I'm a retired consultant physician and used to work at St Thomas's Hospital, but I'd like to tell you something about Circle. In Nottingham, they had a very good dermatology department, recognition across the country, but the local CCG decided that Circle was to run it, but they didn't consult the staff very much. And when Circle started running it, what happened was the consultants resigned and said, we're not putting up with this, and now they have rubbish. That's what Circle does to our NHS.
Thank you.
I want to say huge thanks to the people that put the bill together. You know, it's a really good read, it's a hard read, but it's fantastic, the really terrific work that you've done. And you keep on coming back, it's all slow steps, and it's always great when you come here to hear the little victories, and I think, you know, we all hold on to our little victories. I'm really pleased that we've now got a Labour Party led by people like John McDonnell and Jeremy Corbyn, both of whom I really support. But I really, really want to see Labour every bloody day standing up for our NHS. Peter's right, it's an absolute own goal. You know, Labour would be way more ahead in the polls now if it stood up and said, the Tories are smashing your NHS. And we need to keep fighting. It's great that they've taken those steps. We have to keep fighting, and I just think it's brilliant everyone's here today.